Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of the Select School of Performing Arts podcast. My name is David and I am your host. And today we are joined by two amazing people and teachers. We have Mr. Mikey and Miss Charis joining us today. Now, these two run our main school on Saturdays at Stanmore, which is at Avanti House Secondary School, and they've come in today to talk a bit about how we run the Saturday school, what we offer, and what they get up to, because I don't know what they're doing on that day. So they've come in to tell me what's going on. We've had Mr. Mikey on the podcast before. How are we feeling, Mr. Mikey?
Yeah, feeling good. Happy to be back on the pod again and talking about all things select. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So yeah, really happy to be back.
Lovely. And someone that we haven't had on the podcast yet is Miss Charis. Miss Charis, tell us a bit about you.
So I am the head of ballet at Select. I teach most of the weekend ballet classes, which I really love doing. I studied ballet for my bachelor's degree at London Studio Centre, which is also where Miss Lauren studied. And now I'm doing my master's degree in education with the Royal Academy of Dance, which is really exciting.
Very exciting,
Ooh.
really amazing, and so good to have wonderful teachers that are teaching your children. So, as we get into Saturdays, Mr. Mikey, can you just start us off? Can you tell us a bit about what's different from, for example, students that are in after school clubs and students that then come on a Saturday in Stanmore?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is that the training and the class content that we provide on a Saturday is more streamlined towards the dance style. So, for example, in after school clubs, there's still that strong focus on technique, on performance. However, our Saturday classes, that's when the students who really want to pursue dance come along and they can do exams. Last weekend, we were doing our ballet exams, and we're currently working towards more ballet exams and our jazz exams as well. We do tap, we do street jazz, which isn't a class that we teach during the week. We also have our graded ballet classes, and we sometimes, now and again, do some one-to-ones as well on our weekend classes too. So it's more streamlined, it's more focused on delivering exam content, and it's more of a place where the students can come along and really get that extra one-on-one time with the teachers too.
Miss Charis, so Mikey was talking about exams there. When you're prepping for the ballet exams, what are some of the main things that you see in the children as they're learning and growing towards it? What are some things, maybe some challenges or some successes that you see as they're developing towards an exam?
Yeah, definitely. So as Mr. Mikey said, we've had some students do their exams just last week. They took the pre-primary class award with the RAD, which is like their first ever ballet exam, which was really exciting. And they will all know these, but they learn about the 4 different things that they get marked on for their ballet exam. So they learn that they will be marked on their performance, their technique, their musicality, and then they get a quarter of their marks are for the imaginative movement sequence at the end, which is really exciting. We get to learn about a story from a ballet. So they learned about Coppelia, the storyline, the characters, and they get to kind of show that off in the exam, that they know the story and they know about the characters and who they are and what happens. And then they get to perform it, and we use some props. Some of you might have seen the little keys on the social media, or at the festive recital that we did in December, they used their little keys for the movement sequence. But of course, all of those students in that class will have different strengths and weaknesses within those 4 areas. So some students might be really, really good at performing, but they might not necessarily understand the music. So we get to work on slightly different things each week so that they can get really great marks across the board for their exams. And some of them took private lessons. So if they had a private lesson for their exam prep, we got to work on those things that they struggled with a little bit more even more, so that when they come to the exam, they're really, really confident and they really know what they're doing.
I really love that. You mentioned props, which I know that you are a big fan of, and it's a bit of a thing in Select that Charis has the most amazing props that she brings in for her classes. Everybody says it, all the teachers, and they're brilliant. So you mentioned you use some keys for Coppelia. Give us a list of some of your other amazing props that you have for the children on a Saturday.
That's a great question. I love using ribbons. Ribbons are great for like free movement. For their exam last week, they used some little ribbons that I spent my summer last year sewing little bits of ribbon together to make these little tassels, which are really fun for the bounce and jump because they get to shake them at the end. I have some lovely patterned scarves. A lot of ballet teachers have the kind of standard square scarves, but I like to mix it up sometimes with some like floral patterns and things like that. So I've got a little collection of those. My favourite thing for my younger classes is I bring my little music box, which we knock on the top and we listen to see if she's waking up. And then she brings us a little gift at the end of class. So it will either be a stamp for their hand, a diamond or a sticker, or some fairy dust that we sprinkle on their hand as well.
How magical. That's brilliant. I think it's so important as well, especially when children are developing skills and learning techniques, that they also have an outlet to be creative and actually see that world that they're learning about as well. And I think props are really great to do that. Oh, I can't talk.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mikey, obviously you manage the Saturday school. How do you ensure that every student feels really welcome in the studio and it feels like a second home for them when they come in? Because obviously you have some children who do this, but they also do swimming and they do other stuff outside of school. And then you get other children who it might be their first time. They're a bit more shy and more nervous. So it needs to feel like a welcoming environment. How would you say we create that at Select?
I think first and foremost, the foundation that Miss Catherine and Miss Lauren have set out on the Saturday school, that was like their first baby of Select, so to speak. So taking that on in September, there was a real pressure on me that I put on myself, not from them because they believe in the team, they believe in everyone, but I had that pressure of like, okay, this is like the first thing Select was. So how do I manage to keep it going and progress it and make all of the students who have been coming to us since, some of them have been with us since the very start and they're still coming along every Saturday. So it's creating an environment where obviously I'm the first person that they'll see when they come through the door. Miss Charis is upstairs busying away. She's got back-to-back classes. So it's sort of being a friendly face at the door. Sometimes the classes can start very early and some of the children have just woken up and they're in their ballet uniform, sleepy-eyed, and I'm just like there, like, hi, hello, how are you? Being high energy, really caring about, you know, what they're doing at the weekend. You know, this is their class. Maybe it's the start of the day, but asking them, okay, what have you got planned for the rest of the day? Have you got a birthday party you're going to? Okay, let's talk about that next week. So it's having that one-to-one time at the start before they go into their lesson, making it feel like, okay, yeah, we can have a little 5-minute conversation downstairs before you go up. And I'm really invested in some of their schedules because some of our kids have got swimming, they've got karate, they've got football, and then they've got ballet, and then they're going on holiday the next day. Or if it's before half term, they're like, oh yeah, I've got ballet, and then I'm flying off to here in the afternoon. And then I'm like, okay, great, let's talk about your holiday when you come back. It's a really nice time because I'm not strict on like teaching them because I'm not in that area. I'm, you know, the first person they'll see. So I can sort of have that conversation. Whereas in class, I'm like, okay, let's get to it. Let's do our warm up. Let's do our technique. Let's do our performance. Let's go there. And then it separates me as the teacher to me as Mr. Mikey just in general. Yeah, I think it's that sense of personability, is that a word? Don't know. We're using it. Being personal and yeah, being invested in them in Select, but also what they do outside as well.
Yeah, definitely. So would you say it's about having balance, I would say, from what you said. It's like about having that balance of being able to help the children grow and succeed and learn, but also being able to have that personal connection and relationship with them so that when they go home, they say, oh, this is what we've done today. Mr. Mikey, I was telling him all about my holiday, or I was telling him all about how I go to do swimming as well, or all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it is a big thing that the word balance is like that's the best part of Select. You get the balance of great high level training,
Mm.
but also you get the balance of people who actually really care and who are invested in not only what your child does in the lesson, but also what they're doing outside and who they are as an individual. Over summer, we're not teaching. And when we come back after summer, we see like the growth spurts. We see that they're doing a new sport at school, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're actually seeing them grow up. And we get to spend that time with them, even if it's an hour on a Saturday, seeing their journey, even through like the 6 week break. And we're like, oh my gosh, you've grown so much. And now you're doing this class. I sometimes feel like a parent, and I'm not a parent. So I'm like, oh, look at them. Like, and some of them are on the poster when they started, and now they're like nearly as tall as me. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, it's being invested in them is probably the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're just going to move on slightly. I just want to talk about inspiration as a word. I think that it's something that when we go on to being adults, we forget about a lot. But obviously, working in a dance school, it's really something you get to see on a daily basis when you see them. Miss Charis, what would you say is your biggest inspiration for teaching and for wanting to dance? What made you, when you were younger, want to go and do dancing? And then also now seeing those children, what inspires you to keep teaching and passing on your wisdom and your knowledge?
For teaching, I definitely say my mum. She was a teacher for a little bit, and then she worked with children her whole life. So I was always kind of in that environment where she was a helper and she looked after people, and like that was her role. So that really, really inspired me.
Mm.
That when I graduated, I was like, that's something that I'd want to do as well. When I first graduated, would like go and see the Royal Ballet, and they had some incredible performances going there. But like we all started kind of when we were teeny tiny 2-year-olds, and I would watch the Barbie princess ballet movies and those kinds of things. And my mum would take me to the cinema and we'd watch the Royal Ballet live. They like live stream to cinemas, and I'd go and watch those, and like being able to see the joy and the excitement and the wonder of it, even from like 3-4 years old, was really exciting to me. And I just kind of never stopped. And here I am now.
I love that. I think it's so important as well, being inspired by things, because when you're growing up, I think you take it for granted, that feeling of being inspired. And because it can be anything, it can be your teacher say to you, I went and did this on the weekend, and this is what I got up to, and now I'm here teaching ballet. And that might inspire a kid and go, oh my gosh, you can do that. Like it broadens your whole perspective. And I think that's the great thing about Select as well, and about teaching at Select. You have so many different types of teachers, you have so many different types of people teaching your child, and so it can really affect the way they learn and the way they grow, because obviously every teacher is going to teach differently and every person is different. So having that around your child is super important. We do take it for granted, feeling inspired.
I did have a child in one of my classes last week ask me what my job was. And I explained to her, like, this is my job. I get to teach ballet every day. And she kind of had no idea. And she was so like inspired and excited by that idea, because I
Yeah.
think it hadn't crossed her mind that it's not just something you do like once a week. You can choose to do it forever, all the time, like I have. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was really lovely to see.
I love that, definitely. Mr. Mikey, inspiration. We spoke a bit about inspiration before in the Festive Recycle
Yes.
podcast, but can you just tell me just a bit about what inspires you?
Yeah, I think for me, definitely going into teaching, like I'm still within the industry, so I'm still doing those things actively, wanting to book jobs and do all of these amazing things outside of teaching. But when I started with Select, it was like I just graduated. I was just like, okay, everything's like a possibility, but actually teaching was the thing that sparked that flame when I was training again, because all of a sudden I have 30 little children around me looking up to me like, oh, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm doing the thing that when I was in their position, I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. So actually working with the students inspires me every single day. I have conversations sometimes where it's like, oh, Mr. Mikey, uh, it's same as Miss Charis. Oh, what do you do? And I'm like, what? This is my job, but also, it's that thing of like, you can do this as a job, and one day maybe you'll be in my position, and I don't know, maybe one day we could be working together 10 years down the line, praying that my legs still work. We could be working on a show together. Like, it's always that thing. I have a really funny story. When I graduated from Trinity, I was actually in an audition with one of my teachers, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm at that level of my teacher where we're being seen for things and we're doing the same thing. I always say to all of my students, I'm like, you can do this. This is a plausible thing. Yes, it's a hobby. Yes, it's a side activity to your day-to-day school and whatever. But in the future, you can make this your reality. So yeah, my inspiration comes from, being that child in the studio to now being the person leading the class to then being the professional dancer, actor, singer in the industry and passing on that knowledge. At times it can feel like the arts industry as a whole, it seems so far out of reach. And, there are some people who will say, oh, it's just a hobby, you've got to have a plan B. And I'm like, yeah, that's one way of thinking, or you can look at it the other way of like, you can do this and it will open up so many different possibilities, and they are transferable skills. If you can get onto a stage and perform in front of 150 people, then you can get up and do a big work presentation or a big work meeting. If you can sing really, really loud and you can project, then you can command a space, you can command people's attention in a different setting. So they're all transferable skills as well. So that's what I'm trying to inspire, and I get inspired by the students as well.
Lovely, excellent. So just before we move on to a little bit of a game segment, I wanted to ask Miss Charis, can you tell us just a bit about the things that we offer on a Saturday and how that affects the children as well in their growth?
Absolutely. So our youngest class at the moment is our teeny tiny twirlers, which are preschool and reception ballet classes. So we have two of those at 9:45 and 12:15. They're really lovely to teach for me, but it's lovely to see the children like their first steps in ballet. We have pre-primary who have just taken their exam, so they'll be moving up to primary. We have primary ballet, so that's our 9 o'clock class. Primary ballet at 11:30, which is for kind of slightly older students who are working towards more exams. They've got a bit more experience. And then we have the graded ballet classes later in the day. So we have grade 2 and grade 4 on a Saturday. Grade 4's with the lovely Miss Liv. And Miss Liv also teaches ballet technique, which is for kind of the students that are showing a lot of like progress in their classes. They're working really hard and they want to do a little bit more. They can be invited to kind of a second class a week where they get to work on some really difficult things. I've seen some of the things Miss Liv teaches, and they're doing some really tricky steps and they're kind of taking hold of it really well. And it's really inspiring for them to see kind of the older girls as well in the class, which is lovely.
Yeah.
And then we also have our lovely tap class with Miss Neve at 12:15, which is for a mix of ages. So there's some of the, I think, pre-primaries take it and then up to grade 2. So there's kind of a mix of ages all gets to dance together, which is really nice. And then we have our fabulous street jazz classes with Mr. Mikey and with Miss Neve. So we have our junior and our seniors where they get to work on both jazz technique and street dance. And I think some of them are thinking about exams soon as well. So that will be really exciting.
That's brilliant. That's fabulous. I think it's great to see as well, to hear that it's a great environment, not only to learn and grow, but also to be pushed and to be challenged as well, which I think is really important, especially for older children as well that are joining us. Well, all children. So we're going to move on to a little game segment. Now, this is a bit 2012, but the game segment is called Who's Most Likely To. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then when I ask the question, I want you to think who out of me and Mr. Mikey or me and Miss Charis is most likely to do that thing. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Love
Said that with some determination.
Exactly. Let's get started. So let's get us started with our first question. Cue the music. Our first question is, who is most likely to demonstrate a high energy leap at the end of the day, like it's the first dance of the day?
Probably me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, second question, who's most likely to have a Mary Poppins bag that contains literally everything a student might need? Hair ties, plasters, spare socks, props. I think that's Miss Charis as well.
Miss Charis.
Definitely.
Miss Charis has a suitcase with everything in. Angelina Ballerina hugs it. We bring it up every Saturday. It's got everything you could ever possibly need in ballet, in dance, in life.
Wow.
Everything's in there.
Amazing. Bit of a more sensitive one. Who's most likely to come up with a brilliant metaphor to help a student understand a difficult move?
Ooh.
I'm not sure. I think we both.
Maybe both?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of you. Everybody.
I think
It's I don't know where I'm pointing.
I think I come up with some profound sayings that I think are profound, that the kids are a bit what? But I think Miss Charis comes up with great analogies that are very image based, you could see what it is for them to understand. Whereas I come out with crazy things. Whatever works.
Say some crazy things as well sometimes.
Yeah.
But if their imagination is spiked, then we've got what we want and we're going in the right direction. So if it works, it works.
The job.
Works. Running wild. Next question. Who is most likely to arrive to the studio first?
We're both very early, I must say.
We get there at similar times.
Yeah.
Most Saturdays.
We get the same bus sometimes.
Sometimes we're on the same bus together. There's a saying in dance where it's if you're on time, you're late. So, and that was very much established.
I don't like feeling rushed. I need my minute I need to set up, I need to know where everything is. I need to check the music is working.
Yeah.
I need that time to make sure everything's where it needs to be before we start.
Next question. Who is most likely to remember the old school routines from 5 years ago perfectly and to a T?
With us again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we've both done the ISTD.
Yeah.
Grade 5. That everyone remembers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that exercise.
Oh, who is most likely to notice a student has a new pair of shoes and a new hairstyle before they even say hello?
I would say me for shoes and maybe Miss Charis for hair. I say this because one of my students comments on my trainers sometimes. I've got these gold pair of trainers. She said, "Oh, Mr. Mikey, I'm getting the same gold pair of trainers for my birthday." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm always looking out for that. Or if they're wearing wellies or something, I'm like, "Oh my God, I love your wellies." If they're sparkly, or the shoes that light up. Love a shoe that lights up.
I'm so mad they don't make those in adult sizes.
Yeah, they should.
I want them.
The dance classes would be so much more fun if we were all wearing light up shoes.
Although we do have fun lights in the studio that we like to put on sometimes.
We do.
Oh, exciting. Who is most likely to be found still talking about dance choreography in the car park after the building is locked?
I feel like we're relatively
This
the
game
same.
is not
We're
working.
Very similar.
This game doesn't work with us because we're sort of the same, but in different fonts.
Sorry, we've ruined your game.
Who is most likely to be able to fix a costume malfunction with nothing but a safety pin and a prayer? Yeah, I reckon.
I fixed character shoes with a safety pin. I fixed skirts. Skirts always need safety pins. They fall off all the time. Bobby pins as well. I will take a bobby pin and I will fix a character skirt with this.
Mhm.
It works. It does the job. The grade 2s will know.
Yeah.
The amount of bobby pins I've had to put on their skirts because the Velcro sometimes loses its stick. So just bobby pin it back together.
Perfect. Who's most likely to have the magic touch with the Wi-Fi or music player when it's being temperamental?
It's not me.
Yeah. Probably.
I'm not very
me.
technological. Is that a word?
I would say me because I wouldn't say technical because
No, but you've got that magic touch. It happens. Like,
yeah, I'm a firm believer of if you bang it twice, it should work, or turn it off and on again.
And off and on again.
It usually works. Give it a little kick. It should work.
and finally, who is most likely to stay perfectly calm when dealing with 3 students that are all asking questions at the same time?
I don't feel calm, but we have routines and the students know what is expected of them in my classes, and then they'll understand and they'll sit down and put that up.
Yeah.
So they know that I can listen to them one at a time, because it happens when you have 16 children in a room and they're all so excited to tell you about what they've done that week. Sometimes we just need to take a minute, and sometimes we need some calming exercises, but they work. Mr. David, I saw your candle flickering. I've been stealing that this week, I must say. Your breathing exercise, I've stolen that for a few classes this week.
Yeah,
because
you came and watched the class.
Yeah.
I was like, how did you know that? Like, where have you been watching me from the clouds?
I got the CCTV.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, well, I've absolutely loved having you on, guys. It's been absolutely brilliant. And it's lovely to hear how our main school runs and the different things that we offer. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And get your children down on a Saturday. We have a really fun time.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Come join us.
If you want to find us, you can also find us on social media. You can book your trial through the website. And also, if you go onto our Instagram, there's a link in the bio. It has everything you need to know. Apart from that, that's everything from me. And we'll see you in the next episode. We have some amazing, and I'm talking amazing, special guests coming up for you in the next couple of episodes. So make sure that you stay tuned, you subscribe or follow the podcast on your favorite streaming platform. And if you are really enjoying it and you love listening to these episodes, get your children to listen to them as well. It's great to get them to hear all the different things. We've had people on from the West End, from international tours, so it's great for them to get used to hearing and knowing about the inside knowledge that you find in entertainment industry. And like I said, if you did enjoy it, it would be amazing if you could rate our podcast as well, which you can do on Spotify or on your favorite streaming platforms as well. Other than that, that's everything from me, and we will see you in the next episode.
And to all, good night.
Goodbye. Hey guys, it's Mr. David here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Select School of Performing Arts podcast. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and subscribe, and you can also find us on social media at Select School of Performing Arts.